What's up, you weirdos? Fever here. How's everyone doing today? Staying out of trouble? Alright, so Beyond Light will be out shortly, and I know everyone's excited to start that grind again. In this video, I'm going to kind of give a crash course on how to min-max your characters. This way you can be raid ready and get to that sweet endgame content as soon as possible. Most of you probably know a lot of this, but don't forget we have a bunch of new players joining our community, so I want to help them as much as possible. If you're watching this and you are new, welcome to Destiny. I will not be covering any vendor farming in detail or bounty hoarding from the previous season type of stuff, because I'm not sure what Beyond Light will bring us. According to Bungie, vendor farming in the tower is a no-go right out the gate, but I'm not sure if this applies to planet vendors as well. Also, if someone is new to the game, they won't have bounties from the previous season, and I'm trying to keep this simple. Something you need to know is, this requires a lot of work and dedication when trying to power level. If you don't care about being raid ready on day 1 or hitting pinnacle caps fast, I would recommend taking your time and enjoying the game for what it is. Destiny is beautiful and has a lot to offer. Alright, now that I've made my generic disclaimer, let's get into the good stuff. First, I'll run through everything and give you a basic game plan to help you get started. This will work for one or multiple characters, but if you have multiples, things change a little bit, and I'll cover that as well. There are 2 different power levels, your baseline and your artifact, but for this video, we will be focusing only on the baseline, which is your actual power level, and I'll explain that shortly. We have a power cap system, and basically what this means is, gear has these humps to get over, where it requires a little more effort if you want them to drop higher. They're almost like mini milestones to hit when leveling up. The new power caps are 1050, 1200, 1250, 1260, and 1260 plus. 1050, which is the base level, and that just means everyone starts here. 1200 is the soft cap, and this means anything that drops will level you up to this point. 1250 is the next cap, and only powerful rewards will help you get here, along with blue farming. Don't worry, I'll discuss blue farming shortly. The final cap is 1260, and only pinnacles will help you at this point. Anything above 1260 will be artifact based, and only XP will level that up. Your artifact does not help leveling. It's not used when determining drops. It's more of an artificial power that will help you in endgame, but not when power leveling. You can raise artifact levels on the side while power leveling by playing the game and completing bounties. Besides, artifact doesn't apply in certain activities like day 1 raids, trials, and Iron Banner. Power leveling relies solely on your base power level and its whole values only. So if you add up your gear and you're 1229.8, your base is 1229. For example, if you were 1229.8 and you got a powerful reward that was plus 3, it would drop at 1232. I'm sure you're asking, where the hell did I pull these numbers from? You can figure out what your base power is by checking DIM, which is Destiny Item Manager, using a calculator, or by looking at the armor on your season pass. If using a calculator, add up all your highest gear and divide it by 8. There is a Destiny specific calculator called JP Wilson, which I will leave a link in the description for it along with the Destiny Item Manager. The thing is actually pretty cool and useful as all hell. Something to keep in mind though when looking at DIM or seasonal armor is that the game accounts for all your gear, not just what's equipped. So if you have a higher piece of armor in your vault or postmaster for that specific character, the game will take that into consideration as well. If you're using a calculator, you'll have to find all your highest gear first. Also, I'm not sure if Bungie has changed anything with the exotics or not, but if you have 2 exotic armor pieces or weapons that are higher, I would recommend infusing one of them into a legendary to be safe. Technically, you cannot equip 2 exotic weapons or armor pieces at the same time, so it might cause an issue. That blue farming thing I mentioned earlier just means farming for rare gear, and it's very important. Blue gear can drop anywhere from -3 to +0 power level depending on your base level. The reason this is so important is because if you have one piece of gear that's lower than everything else, farming for that blue to go in that slot can potentially raise your overall baseline level. It can also save you from using a powerful reward if you're close enough to the next base level increase. I'm going to put the JP Wilson calculator on the screen and throw out some hypothetical numbers to kind of give you an example. If all your highest gear is 1230, except let's say your boots, which are 1229, that would give a 1229.8 value, which means your base power level is only 1229, and that's where the blues will stop. They won't drop any higher than your base level, so the blue farming won't help you at this point. Your best bet would be to do a powerful and then blue farm again. Now let's say your overall power level is 1229. All your gear is 1229 except your helmet is some crazy high number like 1238, and your boots are 1224. You could farm for some blue boots that drop at 1229, and that would bring your base level up to 1230. That means your blues would now start dropping at 1230, and if you farm for all new blue gear, you could bring your base level up to 1231. The key is to squeeze every bit of level out of your drops before using powerful or pinnacles. Powerful and pinnacle rewards have different tiers, which means they are not all equal. You can find out what tier reward it is by hovering over the activities that have a gold icon. From the soft cap of 1200 up to 1250, powerful rewards work like this. Tier 1 offers plus 3 above your base power. Tier 2 offers plus 4. Tier 3 offers plus 5. Pinnacles offer plus 5. Prime and exotics offer plus 3. Clan Ingrams are plus 1. And weak pinnacles, which are earned from playlist activities, these drop at plus 4. Bungie also announced in a recent TWAB that we will be introduced to a new way to earn powerfuls at random from playlist activities. If you're 1250 or higher, powerful engrams will do nothing for you because they will only drop at your base level. The only way to progress is by pinnacle rewards. Weak pinnacles offer plus 1, and normal pinnacles offer plus 2. Something else I should mention is that you can earn powerful rewards from trials and comp playlist on rank ups and wins, which will help you a lot when running low on powerfuls to cash in. Okay, now that we have all this info, let's go over how to utilize it. This will apply to both single character or if you have multiple. When you first sign in, select your character. If you have multiple characters, usually you want to start with your favorite first. If you're new to the game, you will have an introduction and be shipped off to go learn how to play before you can truly start min-maxing. But regardless, you should apply everything I talked about even when learning how to play or doing the intro story. If you were hoarding bounties from the previous season, do not cash them in right away. You want to make sure you get your artifact first and reset your reputation on bounties like Crucible, Gambit, and Vanguard by completing one of each activity in those playlists. If you do not reset your reputation first, you will be hurting yourself. Load into the tower and pick up bounties from everybody. Work your way up to 1200 without completing any powerful or pinnacle rewards, which can be done by just playing the game. I would suggest starting the seasonal quest first to get the artifact as soon as possible, not the DLC quest. Go out and farm some blues or whatever else you can do to get up to the soft cap. You should always check planetary vendors and see if they are offering any rewards higher than your base power level. If so, cash in some of your materials to help get a jump to 1200. Make sure when you're out in the wild completing bounties and picking up prime engrams that you take the time to cash them in immediately, especially the primes because they will help you level up faster. Now I would start working on the actual DLC campaign. If you complete the campaign and you're still below 1200, I would recommend blue farming until you hit the 1200 soft cap. Once you hit 1200, complete one tier 3 powerful reward. Blue farm to level yourself out, and then 1 or 2 tier 1s, and then blue farm again. Rinse and repeat until you're as close to 1250 as possible without using any pinnacle rewards. If there's a spot where you get stuck when trying to climb to 1250, you could play solo comp to help fill in the gaps on your gear. If you only have one character, start using your pinnacles one by one after you've used up all your powerful drops, and be sure to blue farm in between each one. If you have multiple characters, I would recommend saving your pinnacles until all 3 of your characters are as high as possible from blue farming and powerful drops. Switch to your second character and transfer all your highest weapons over from your first character, because this will help bump your base level up before you even get started. You can go check with all the vendors in the tower and planets to see if any of them will have gear above your base power level. If so, grab what you can to get as close to 1200 as possible. Now it's time to start the process all over again. For your second and third characters, go get your artifact and complete the DLC campaign. Once you've done this, check your gear again and see how close the armor is to your overall base level. Don't forget, your weapons were pulled over from your first character and were higher than the armor. If the armor is lower than your base power level, I would recommend doing tier 1 powerfuls and blue farm until everything is close, and then you could start working on higher tier powerfuls and comp. You can actually do the same thing as your first character once your gear is all pretty close to each other. Tier 3, then blue farm. 1 or 2 tier 1s, blue farm, and save your pinnacles if possible. Now repeat this process again for your third character, but this time you can actually start doing your pinnacles as well, after completing all the powerful and blue farming. Once you've completed everything on your third character, move back to your first character and bring all your high weapons with. Blue farm to get your armor as close to the weapons as possible and grind any playlist activities at a chance for powerfuls. Once your gear is close, start doing the pinnacles and then rinse and repeat on the second character as well. A tip that might help you depending on how fast you are is buying exotic armor from Xur. When you buy an armor piece from him, it'll drop at your base power level. He sells one exotic armor piece for each class. So if you were to use your first character and buy the armor piece for your second, it'll give you a jump in your base power level, especially when you drag your weapons over from the first character. You should be done with all 3 characters by the end of the week, and when the second week rolls around, do it all over again, but start with your highest character. Something to keep in mind though is that this is all RNG based. You might end up having the worst luck possible and fall short of hitting your caps in this game, and that's totally okay. If it's the raid you're after, you only need to hit 1230 because on day 1, Bungie puts a contest mode in place so everyone is on the same playing field, level-wise. If there's anything that might help players grind more efficiently than what I mentioned, please drop it in the comment section. I want this guide to help people. Thank you so much for watching, and if you found this video helpful, leave a like and subscribe, but more importantly, just be a good person to one another, and have a fantastic day.